In the heart of Aryavarta, where rivers flowed like sacred veins through the land and the skies sing the name of kings past, a child was born in the place of Hastinapura. This is the episode 1 of the Mahabharat series, the beginning of a saga that would shape the destiny of Bharat. It starts here with a prince whose silence could calm the storms and whose choices would echo for generations. He was born to King Pratipa, ruler of the Kuru dynasty, a lineage strong, disciplined, and deeply rooted in Dharma. That child was named Shantanu. From the very beginning, Shantanu was different. Unlike other princes, he wasn't loud or boastful. He didn't hunger for glory. He was observant, calm, and quiet, almost like a sage in a prince's body. But don't mistake his silence for weakness. When he was barely a teenager, he could draw a bow with such a skill that the royal archers were left speechless. His mind was sharp, quick to solve political puzzles that baffled the court ministers. But what truly set him apart was his heart. He was known for sitting under the trees after training, listening to the stories of old men, for tending to the wounded soldiers in the royal stables, for smiling at the palace guards and remembering their names. Shantanu, his father, once said, "You are the river that brings peace after a storm," and that name stayed true, for he would have soon become the storm and the calm that followed it as well. When King Pratipa grew old, the elders of the court agreed on what everyone already knew. Shantanu would be the next king. No wars were fought for the throne, no brothers contested his right, because Shantanu had already won the hearts of the people. As king, he ruled with compassion. He travelled across the kingdom, from the snow-capped peaks of the north to the fertile plains of the south, listening to the cries and songs of his people. He built granaries, dug wells, and repaired temples. He ensured that sages were protected and that Dharma was not just preached but practiced. The court sang his praises. The bards called him Shanta Hridaya, the peaceful hearted one. But beneath all the glory, a silence sit in his soul, a longing he couldn't name. It was on a golden dusk by the river Ganga that his life changed. He saw her, a woman so ethereal, so radiant that the birds felt quiet. Her eyes held the weight of oceans, her smile the warmth of the sun. Shantanu was not a man easily shaken, but in that moment he stood frozen. He stepped forward and asked, "Who are you?" And she replied simply, "I am Ganga." She spoke no more, but her presence spoke volumes. Shantanu was captivated, not by her beauty alone, but by the mystery that wrapped around her like silk. He offered his hand in marriage, but she had one condition. "You must never question me, no matter what I do or say. You must remain silent." Shantanu, blinded by love, agreed. And so began a chapter that would bring him joy and an unbearable sorrow. Ganga and Shantanu lived like a dream and reality woven together. She was a perfect queen, graceful, wise, and serene. The people of Hastinapura rejoiced. The king smiled again. Then Ganga gave birth to their first child. Shantanu was elated. But the night the child was born, Ganga walked to the river and drowned the baby in its sacred waters. Shantanu was horrified, but he remembered his promise to never to question her. Then came the second child, and the third, and the fourth, each time drowned, each time silence from the king. The court murmured, the people wondered, but Shantanu bore it all. It was the eighth child that broke him. As Ganga approached the river once more, child in her arms, Shantanu cried out, "Stop! Please, why are you doing this?" Ganga turned, her face calm, now shone with divine radiance. She revealed the truth. The children were the Ashtavasus, celestial beings cursed to be born on the earth. They had begged her to be their mother and release them from their curse. By drowning them, she was freeing them. But this eighth child would live. For Shantanu had spoken and the bond was broken, she smiled and said, "This child will become the greatest warrior this world has ever seen. He shall name as Devavrata." And with that, she vanished, taking the child with her. Years passed and Shantanu never remarried. He ruled alone with only his memory for company. One day, as he rode near the river, he saw a young man halting the flow of the Ganga with a single arrow. Shantanu was stunned. The young man approached, regal, fierce, and wise. He was Devavrata, his son, now trained by the gods, by sages like Parashurama, and schooled in every Shastra and Vidya known to a man. Shantanu wept. He embraced his son. Ganga appeared once again and told him now that the boy belonged to him. Father and son returned to the Hastinapura, and for the first time in years, Shantanu felt whole. Fate wasn't done with him yet. On a journey near a fisher village, Shantanu saw her, Satyavati, a fisherwoman, the daughter of a chieftain. Her scent of musk, her sharp wit, her graceful composure, he fell in love again. But her father had a condition. Only a son born from Satyavati could inherit the throne. Shantanu was torn. Devavrata was his pride and his soul. How could he betray him? Shantanu returned to the palace broken. He didn't speak, he didn't eat. His silence said it all. When Devavrata discovered the truth, he approached the fisher chief himself and made the terrible vow. I shall never marry. I shall never claim the throne. I will serve the ruler of Hastinapura, whoever it may be, forever. The heavens shook. The gods cried out, Bhishma, the meaning, he of the terrible vow. Shantanu was speechless. He blessed his son with a boon. You shall choose the moment of your death. But in his heart, Shantanu cried. For love, he had lost the one who had loved him the most. Shantanu married Satyavati. They had two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. But happiness eluded him. Chitrangada died young in the battle. Vichitravirya was weak and unfit to rule. And Bhishma, the son he had abandoned for love, remained dutiful, distant, and silent. Shantanu aged rapidly. He would often sit by the same river bank where he once saw Ganga, where he once dreamed of peace. In his final days, he spoke a very little, not because he had nothing to say, but because he had said too much to the wrong people and too little to the right ones. One morning, as the sun rose over the Ganga, Shantanu closed his eyes and never opened them again. Shantanu's story is not just of a king, it is the story of every soul that has ever loved and lost. He was a good man, but even good men must choose, and sometimes even their silence echoes for generations. His silence cost Bhishma his happiness. His choices set into the motion of the Mahabharata itself. So, what we can learn? Love is not just emotion, it is a responsibility. Promises once made ripple beyond a lifetime, and sometimes the loudest wars are fought in silence. Let Shantanu's story remind us to speak when we must, to stand by those who stand by us, and to rule not just kingdoms but our own hearts. This was the story of Shantanu Maharaj, only on the Gita Journal, where ancient wisdom lives on forever. This is the Gita Journal. Follow for more such untold tales from the epics.